What is going on, everyone? It's your boy Arti, Executive Director of Film and Art. Today, we are taking a look at my final quarterback rankings for the 2024 NFL draft class. This is a class full of, potential, star quarterbacks, a cluster of quarterbacks that could have to sit for a year or two that could develop into starting quarterbacks. And then obviously, as in, most classes, really, really reliable potential backups. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into my final rankings for the 2024 NFL draft. It's again a very, very talented class, a very, very deep class this year with potentially 6 quarterbacks going in the first round. Let's go ahead and get into it, and let's see how my final rankings shaped out as compared to my rankings prior in the draft process. Starting with 14 through 12, obviously, as you guys can see on the screen, are undrafted free agent grade quarterbacks ranked by me. Quick note, because you probably won't see him, you'll probably wonder why. I do not have Jordan Travis as a quarterback at the next level. Watched the tape and just respectfully just did not believe that he was of quality to be an NFL quarterback in any capacity. So just didn't evaluate him based on that. But at 14, have Carter Bradley, quarterback from South Alabama. At 13, Tua Tagovailoa's little brother, Taluia Tagovailoa, quarterback from Maryland, and Austin Reed, quarterback from Western Kentucky. These are all quarterbacks with UDFA grades. These are guys that are probably going to be, practice squad guys, maybe third game day emergency quarterbacks at the next level. Getting to the round 7 grades, from me at number 11, my 11th ranked quarterback in this class is Caden Slovis, quarterback from BYU. Just a little bit of information on him. Ran a very, very good 40 at the NFL Combine. Surprised a lot of people, including me. Didn't really show that athleticism much during his college career. Started off at USC, then transferred to Pitt, and then, like most quarterbacks now, most college players nowadays, transferred for a third time to the University of BYU, where he finished his senior season. The other 7th round grade that I have in this draft class for quarterbacks is Joe Milton III. He is my 10th ranked quarterback. He was my 10th ranked quarterback when we unveiled our top 10s, I believe, in the middle of April. So a couple weeks ago. And stays the same. Believe that Joe Milton is a quarterback who a lot of people are going to love the traits, right? You're going to love the rocket launcher of an arm, right? The ability to, just put the ball all the way down the field, right? Like, can make the deepest of throws. But when you need him to make an routine out route throw, it's hit or miss, right? Also you think about the fact that, he only had really 1 year as a starter. So we really haven't even gotten to see him and what he is and what he really could be at the college level. So as an NFL evaluator, how can I be sure of the investment? I'm sorry. How can I be sure of the product that I'm investing in when it comes to a Joe Milton? Did see a lot of things on tape that I liked and think, can translate to the next level, like the arm strength, the ability to, push the ball downfield, things like that. Also, some mobility shown as far as like maneuvering in the pocket and scrambling a little bit, but overall, just with the inaccuracy, I'm sorry, and the lack of just good tape and then decision making. Joe Milton, 7th round player for me, and my 10th ranked quarterback in this draft. Moving right along to my 9th ranked quarterback in this class, and the player I'm gonna first, talk about solo dolo. That's Michael Pratt, quarterback from Tulane. As you see, his combine measurements there on the screen came in at 6'2" and a half, 217 pounds. The 2023 season was not the 2022 season. He definitely was better pretty much across the board in 2022. Had a really big time win over USC in the Cotton Bowl. So shout out to Tulane for getting that done for the school and everything. When it comes to Michael Pratt, you kind of start to look at him and say, well, we kind of saw, similarities, to a guy by the name of Brock Purdy and the same, things that Michael Pratt struggled with coming out, you know, as far as Brock Purdy goes. He definitely had, some similarities and, the same weaknesses and some similar strengths as well. But the difference between Brock Purdy and, Michael Pratt, for me personally, is I believe that, Michael Pratt is, more athletic per se than Brock Purdy. Like, he can probably run faster than Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy has him in, the escapability, you know, being able to, remain a passer on the move. Michael Pratt's pretty good at that too. But the main reason the Brock Purdy comp, is so prevalent in my mind is, smaller school, right? Tulane, Iowa State, a guy who's probably going to be, a lower draft pick. Purdy obviously was Mr. Irrelevant in his class, went in the 7th round with the last pick, and I have a 6th-round grade on Michael Pratt, so I like Michael Pratt a little bit better than where Brock Purdy went. But overall, you know, Pratt has, as it says on the screen, average arm strength and accuracy, but his cerebral approach and his mobility, as I already mentioned, could lead him to being a reliable backup at the NFL level. Moving right along to my number 8 ranked quarterback in the class of 2024, and it's Sam Hartman, quarterback from Notre Dame. Now, Sam Hartman, at the start of his college career, had me and fellow scout, Hunter, just salivating, right? At Wake Forest, he was definitely a quarterback that was high on our radar, quarterback that we believed could really translate to the NFL well. We loved how he threw with anticipation. We loved how he was gutsy. He would stare down the barrel and just make really tough throws with defenders hanging all over him, hitting him in the face. Like, did not matter. He was really one of the true, you know, not dual threat, but pocket manipulating quarterbacks in that ACC conference for a while. Him and Sam Howell having duels, and also Trevor Lawrence one year as well. Definitely come to mind thinking of that Wake Forest tape. But transfers to Notre Dame for his final year of college eligibility. You see the stats there. He had an okay year. He definitely had some bigger years statistically in Wake Forest, but Notre Dame was a more balanced offense. They ran the ball a lot. A lot. It was probably the most balanced offense he's ever played in. Wake Forest was definitely more of the normal college spread offense for Sam, but again, his deficiencies when it comes to arm strength and accuracy really show up, right? And in this league, you know, having the ability to throw with anticipation, having the ability to throw with touch is good, right? It's really good, but at a certain point, you just have to be able to have the arm strength to make those certain throws to really be successful, consistently in the NFL. And Sam Hartman, just really does not have that NFL arm. And at the next level, he's mobile, but he's not really like mobile enough, right? Like, would definitely like to see him also work on his pocket mechanics a little bit. He can get a bit of happy feet in the pocket at times. Can also stare down his receivers quite a bit as well. So, summary on him is, while flashing potential, at Wake Forest, as I've already mentioned, Hartman at age 25 will probably be viewed as nothing more than a backup who could win games in a pinch as a starter at the next level. Moving right along to my QB7 in the 2024 NFL Draft, it is none other than Spencer Rattler, quarterback from South Carolina, former number one overall recruit in his recruiting class, former Oklahoma Sooner, transferred to South Carolina after Caleb Williams took his spot in the 2021 season. Also, after Lincoln Riley departed, wanted a change of scenery, wanted a chance to prove that he was that quarterback that came into that 2021 season with, QB1 draft talk back then. And he might not have done that. He might not have lived up to those expectations. But Spencer Rattler was a very, very good quarterback in the SEC the past 2 years. Um, whether it was throwing to Juice Wells or Jaheim Bell or this year exclusively Xavier Legette, Spencer Rattler proved in his time at South Carolina that he is just a uber talented quarterback who it's interesting to wonder what his career and what his draft status would have been like if he would have been continuing on that arc that he was going on after his redshirt freshman season in 2020. Might have to sit, obviously because he is outside of that, top six or so quarterbacks that we believe here at Filmers Art will probably start year one for whatever team they get drafted for. If not, be drafted in a place where they can start within the year. Spencer Rattler might be outside of that tier, the only one that could sit for a year or two and then really come in and really be ready to have, like that Jordan Love type of, season, right? Where you sit for a couple years, you learn from a established veteran, and then whenever they decide to kick the can down the road and retire, or maybe they don't have, the consistency as far as playing and they get something done with their contract, maybe Spencer Rattler can come in and be, your franchise's new starting quarterback. So got a third round grade on Spencer Rattler. Really, really, really like the way he bounced back in his career after what happened at Oklahoma, how messy that split was. And I believe that Spencer Rattler can definitely blossom into an NFL starter with the right people around him, the right team around him, and with some good coaching. Getting into the top six, the six, whatever you want to say, the quarterbacks that we believe will potentially, you know, be all first round picks. Maybe one drops to second. Um, the quarterback I have ranked sixth in my 2024 NFL draft quarterback rankings is Bo Nix, quarterback from Oregon. He's been four, he's been five, he's been six, and now he's staying there at number six for me. Bo Nix, 6'2", 214 pounds. His measurements from the combine. At the Senior Bowl, not gonna lie, was not that impressed with what he put out on display during the practices. Thought he definitely could have, thrown the ball a tad bit better. I do understand that you're throwing to people that you've never thrown to before, but at the same time, it's almost like Bo Nix just was a tick late, and just again, hate to continue to beat this dead horse, but just seemed like the lack of arm strength just really is prohibiting him from being the quarterback that a lot of people think he can be. Um, I am not as high on Bo Nix. Obviously, I have a second round grade on him. I do think that he will be an NFL starter. He might sit for a year based on where he gets drafted because I have no idea after Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and Caleb Williams all go. I have no idea who's coming off the board next. Regardless of my rankings, I have no idea who's going to be that next quarterback taken. So depending on where he goes, like if he goes to Denver, if he goes to Las Vegas, you know, if potentially New England or someone trades back and he goes to New England, I have no idea if he's going to start year one. But what I do know is that regardless if he starts year one or takes a redshirt year and starts next year, I believe that his ability to be mobile, his ability to process, read defenses, that's definitely going to help him, in his early NFL career because he's already very good at that now. He understands how to extend plays, how to throw the ball away. but also, is really, really good at reading defenses. He knows, okay, read one isn't there. Let me get to read two. Let me get to read three. Throw the ball. He's already very, very good at that. But again, and I'll say it again till I'm blue in the face, the lack of arm strength with Bo Nix definitely, definitely will determine, how successful he is in the NFL, because you are going to have to, you know, scheme around that, scheme for that, because just consistently taking shots down the field, it's just not Bo Nix's skill set. It's just not what his arm is built for. I don't care what anyone tells me about Oregon's offense. There are plenty of times where I've seen Bo Nix underthrow Troy Franklin, a 4-4 receiver. And there are plenty of times I've also seen him just miss short because he just couldn't get that on the ball. So, Bo Nix, second round quarterback, in my opinion. Again, very, very good season, though, right? Started his career off at Auburn. And to be quite honest with you, when I saw him in Auburn, I thought he was undraftable. So the jumps that he made in his 2 years at Oregon are outstanding, and why I regard him as a second round pick right now, but could not get any higher for me on my list. At number 5 on my 2024 NFL Draft quarterback final rankings, J.J. McCarthy, quarterback from Michigan, national champion. Everybody has their opinion on J.J. McCarthy. Some people love him. Some people think he could be the third best quarterback in his class. Some people hate him. They think Spencer Rattler's better than him. I think the way I've kind of found out how to assess J.J. McCarthy is assess him as a developing quarterback, right? Like his first 2 years in college as a starter, he really looked like he was, sheltered. I wouldn't go as far as say neutered, but I would say he looked sheltered. He looked like a kid who, was told to come inside when the street lights come on, right? Like down the stretch of this season, last 7 games, whatever it was, not one attempt over 25 attempts a game in those games, right? I wonder why that was the case, but at the end of the day, that could have just been because, Michigan was just so dominant running the ball. But again, it's just very interesting that a guy who, some people are saying should potentially be the second quarterback taken in this draft was not allowed to throw the football in meaningful, football games down the stretch for the national champion. It's just very interesting. But J.J. McCarthy, 6'2.5", 219. Love, love, love the arm talent. J.J. McCarthy, one thing you can't say about him, you can't say he doesn't have the arm talent. This dude can fire the football with conviction. He can throttle it down. He can throw it low when he needs to. He can put it up for grabs, like 50-50 balls if he needs to. His ability to also throw on the move, rolling right or left, is really, really good. I think at times that gunslinger mentality, does hurt J.J. McCarthy. It does. There are times where he just forces the ball into, triple coverage, and it's just like, bro, what are you doing? Right? There's sometimes where he just holds onto the ball a tad bit too long, and it becomes a 10-yard sack. But when you just look at the prospects in this draft at the quarterback position, J.J. McCarthy easily has one of the top ceilings out of them. Like, I would say only Drake May and Caleb Williams have a higher ceiling than J.J. McCarthy. Like, J.J. McCarthy could truly be a very, very good NFL quarterback if he continues to develop. And whoever drafts him, because obviously you see I have a second round grade on him, whoever drafts him, I would advise them to probably sit him for a year as well. If you don't want to sit him for a year, that's fine, but I would sit him for a year. I believe that he definitely can still develop at some things, specifically processing and reading defenses. I think he struggles with that a little bit. But again, his ceiling could really, really lead to people being surprised of him being one of the better prospects in this draft. I believe JJ McCarthy will hear his name called in the first round, even though I have a second round grade on him, because people just overdraft quarterbacks at this point based on, the positional value and everything. Michael Penix is my quarterback 4 in this 2024 NFL draft class. First off, the medicals came back clean. From everything I've heard, the medicals came back clean. So for Michael Penix, you're looking at him as just a quarterback. You're not looking at him as an injured guy. You're not looking at any of that, right? Obviously, on the scouting report, it definitely goes on there because it happened, right? You can't change history. But you can look at it as he is healthy. Those injuries are not affecting him at this moment. So if I'm looking at Michael Penix with the injuries not affecting him at this moment, I believe that him being the 4th-ranked quarterback in this class is pretty fair. When you think of the arm talent, when you think of the ability to really just fire the ball into tight windows, when you think of the ability to throw the ball deep, when you think of the ability to throw the ball outside the numbers, that's a big thing for me. I like quarterbacks that can really throw that ball outside the numbers because while the game in the NFL is won in the middle of the field, yes, the ability to throw outside the numbers is very important because those are the toughest throws in the league. So if you can make those outside throws, you're already ahead of the game. And Michael Penix is one of the best throwers of the football outside the numbers in this draft. Um, Again, he really is probably the least mobile of the top 6 quarterbacks. I do not like him, running the football. I don't like him. I like him in, scrambling creation situations. It's not that he's not good at it. It's just he's not, as good at it, and a lot of it can be contributed to the injuries. But from a pure pocket passing standpoint, Michael Penix Jr. might be one of the best, pure pocket passers in this class. So you get that, good and bad with Michael Penix. You get that yin and yang, the great pocket passer, not so good at, being mobile and extending plays. But my opinion, he should be ready to go year one in the NFL this season. I believe that, his ability to, put touch on the football, his poise in the pocket, his arm talent is truly tantalizing. And overall, Michael Penix Jr., I believe we'll hear his name called in the first round of this draft just because he's had a really, really good draft process as well. He threw the ball with a great zip down at the Senior Bowl. Same thing at the Combine, capping that off with a really, really good pro day workout. I know pro day workouts don't matter. I know they don't matter, but just saying he's had a really, really good, clean, process. As far as I've heard, all the interviews for him have went good as well. So Michael Penix Jr., expect him to be a first-round pick in the 2024 NFL draft. Cracking into the top 3 now, quarterbacks of this draft, in my humble opinion, my 2024 NFL draft quarterback rankings. My quarterback 3 in this class is Jaden Daniels, quarterback from LSU. He's pretty much been my quarterback 3 since December, since I finished, his film evaluation way back then. Came in at 6'3", 5'8", so almost 6'4", 210 pounds. Had a heck of a season, y'all. I mean, after a pretty much mediocre 2022, he had one of the best seasons in the history of college football and kept that off with winning the Heisman Trophy. I mean, he had 50 total touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. 40 touchdowns passing and 10 rushing. Obviously, you guys are seeing he almost averaged 12 yards per attempt. Just gaudy numbers, right? Now, mind you, because I do have a first round grade on Jaden Daniels. So you see, the last 3 quarterbacks are all first round grades, and the only quarterbacks I have first round grades on. But the thing with Jaden Daniels is going to be one. You've got to improve throwing over the middle of the field. You got to improve your accuracy for one. You've got to improve just being willing to attack the middle of the field. Jaden Daniels, outside the numbers, cool. Jaden Daniels throwing deep, freaking awesome. Like, got the best deep ball in this draft, period. Like, only person that even rivals him in that is Michael Penix Jr., in my opinion. Like, best deep ball in the class. But when it comes to throwing in the middle of the field, when it comes to throwing on the move, despite being such a great dual threat, a great north and south runner, like just being able to run around people identify angles to attack defenses, out leverage defenses. Great at that, but really did not see on tape him throwing well on the run, going right or left. So that's something that I really would like to see him, continue to develop into his game. That playmaking ability. When Reed 1 isn't there, or Reed 2, Jaden Daniels is tucking that football and running. And while that's cool and everything, right? Like, I don't want to make it seem villainized. Like, it's not a bad thing. But for a quarterback that I'm probably taking in the top 3, I would really like for that quarterback to hold the ball a little longer before he takes off. Not hold the ball recklessly and take a sack, but hold the ball and try to create, try to extend the play, try to find a receiver downfield to throw the ball to, right? And I just saw on tape a lot of times Jaden Daniels just really, 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 really bailing from those opportunities to take off and run. And it'll be interesting to see if that changes at the NFL level. Again, first round grade, believe he'll be a top 3 pick, but again, those are things I just really would like to see him improve on. But regardless, with his dynamic dual threat ability and his beautiful deep balls, I've already mentioned, he's going to be a very, very, very highly sought after quarterback in this draft, and expect him to go top 3 with no debate at all. My quarterback 2 in the 2024 NFL draft is Drake May, quarterback from North Carolina. Came in his combine measurements / pro day measurements at 6'4" 3/8. So really, really fits the part as far as physical stature. Also 223 pounds. So definitely one of the more heavy quarterbacks of that, vaunted and highly regarded top 6 that everyone keeps bringing up. Obviously, he had a very, very good season in 2022 as a redshirt freshman, being able to throw to Josh Downs and all of that. Very, very, very good, not redshirt freshman season. But this season was not his best, right? Missed Devontae Walker for 7 games due to the bogus, NCAA suspensions or whatever. But May, honestly, in this season, really just did what he could with what he had. Right, you see the touchdowns are down from 2022. I believe he had 38 down to 24 this year. Interceptions are up. I believe he only threw 5 last year, up to 9 this year. Yards per attempt is down. Completion percentage is down. Even the attempts, passing attempts are down. Yards are down. All that's down, right? But you're probably looking at me saying now, like, well, why is he your quarterback too? Again, as I said in his film session, as I'll say again here with you guys today, Drake May, with that size, his ability to not only create outside of the pocket, but to become a runner and run with that physical frame and his arm talent, it's undeniable to say that you could have a quarterback over him other than Caleb Williams, as we'll get to in a second. It's not fathomable. Now, people are going to say, oh, Jaden Daniels has similar size. Yes, in height, not in strength. I've seen Drake May stare down a barrel of a safety blitzing and throw the football 40 yards down the field accurately. Jaden Daniels doesn't do that. Jaden Daniels, when he gets hit, he gets sent back, right? So I just really trust, Drake May's body to be able to hold up with that, play style that he has. And also, again, because he's not a perfect prospect, right? The accuracy is bad. The footwork is terrible, right? It's not something I can just gloss over. Like, those things are very bad and to be corrected immediately as soon as possible. But again, we have seen this before. His name is Josh Allen, right? A few years ago. You guys have any idea? You guys remember that guy, Josh Allen? How did he turn out, right? And again, Drake May's not Josh Allen. Josh Allen's not Drake May. But we've seen similar quarterbacks with these issues have plenty of NFL success. I am more on the side of I've seen it happen before So I believe it can happen again. And that's why I have Drake May as quarterback 2. First round grade on him, and believe Drake May will absolutely exceed the media's expectations for him and become potentially one of the best young quarterbacks in this league very, very quickly. My comp for him again is a blend of Josh Allen and Justin Herbert, and I expect him to have similar success to those two quarterbacks when it's all said and done. Which brings me to my final quarterback, my top ranked quarterback in this draft. My quarterback 1 since the summer of last year, Caleb Williams, quarterback from the University of Southern California, aka USC. Caleb Williams, the eval speaks for itself. Excellent improviser, really can throw the ball anywhere on the field, any touch, any velocity, it doesn't matter, right? The mobility is something that everyone talks about, his ability to scramble and create. But when he runs the football, you can tell like he was a former running back, right? Like you can tell his ability to make people miss. Like it's outstanding. Like Jane Daniels is a good runner, but he's a straight line speed runner. He's running past you and around you. Caleb Williams has some shake to him. Like he'll juke you, he'll make you, sit down. He'll take your ankles, like all that, right? Just truly impressive as an athlete. Again, when it comes to Caleb Williams, as I said in his film session, I understand how playing within structure is something that he will need to improve on in the future. But again, just like with Drake May, we've seen this before. We've seen the quarterback who, he really can't play within structure. I understand he's talented. He has a great arm. He's extremely creative, at extending plays, but we just need to see him play within structure. And now that guy's won 3 Super Bowls. I'm just saying, a lot of these quarterbacks that you guys are nitpicking, that you guys are trying to tear down and beat up, say, a lot of their comps for me and just players that they probably model their game after in some ways, had similar issues coming out of college. And they're widely regarded as some of the top 5, maybe 2 and 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, every player's different, right? Caleb Williams could possibly, in some far out strange alternate universe, could become a bust. I happen to think that he has 0 bust potential. I believe his floor is extremely too high, but his ceiling, Caleb Williams could be the best quarterback in the NFL one day. Legitimately. Like if Caleb Williams continues to, work on obviously the ball security, the overconfidence in the arm. I mean, it is a problem. I'm not sitting here trying to glaze. His over trusting in his arm is a problem. But again, when it comes to quarterbacks in this draft, and really, if you look at it, any quarterback in the past 3 or 4 drafts, I guess outside of Joe Burrow, there's not one quarterback I would take over Caleb Williams. Not one. No, not Trevor Lawrence. No. Not Justin Fields. Not Brock Purdy. I wouldn't take any of these guys over Caleb Williams. That's how special I think he is. And I believe the Chicago Bears are going to take him at number 1, as everybody believes now. And they are going to be competing for the playoffs this fall. Like Caleb Williams is that type of quarterback to where Chicago just basically said, hey, Justin, we appreciate, your consistency, your grind. We've tried to, give you chance after chance, but we've got to send you on your way. Because this guy, Caleb Williams, has the potential to change our franchise's history forever. Caleb Williams, number 1 ranked quarterback in this class for me, number 1 ranked player on my personal big board, and number 1 ranked player on Film and Art's big board as well. Just a flat-out stud and future superstar in this league. With that being said, That's going to wrap it for my final quarterback rankings of this 2024 NFL draft. Before I get out of here, just want to thank you guys for all the support this draft cycle. We have doubled our following. We have doubled our subscribers. We've doubled, our views. Everything is up statistically around Film and Art this draft cycle. Everything is up. Everything. We've elevated in every way possible, and that could not have been done without each and every one of you. So thank you guys so much. If you like this video, please, please, please like this video in physical form and consider subscribing to our channel. A lot of things are in the tuck for next season. We are putting things in place, parameters in place to provide you guys with more NFL draft content, more NFL content in totality. So again, we thank you so much for tuning in, and it's draft week, baby. It's draft week. Let's see where these quarterbacks land. Let's see what best fits each draft picked, and let's continue to make it spin like a spiral. Peace out, y'all.